Hi, everyone. I just want to thank you all for being here today. Today we are having our second masterclass with Ollie and Henry from Straw and Wool. And I am Acacia Barnett, the program manager for ASU's Entrepreneurship and Innovation for the Blackstone Launchpad. And we're really excited to kick off this second masterclass and showing different entrepreneurs that are in the Valley and how they can help some of our students with getting their foot into the door and just seeing what it really looks like to be an entrepreneur. So I want to give a little bit of backstory. So founded in February of 2020, Straw and Wool's founders have always had a love for style, and each has had their individual experience with selling men's accessories independently for several years. With Phoenix being such a transplant town, having residents from all over the country, many of whom have a deep appreciation for classic hats, and the three came together to create a destination for hat lovers and hat newbies alike. So without further ado, we'd really like to show some appreciation to Ollie and Henry for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
So we just want to jump right into our questions for you. We're really excited to learn about your business and how you both got started. Can you tell us what inspired you to start Straw and Wool? And how did your individual experience in selling men's accessories influence the creation of the brand?
Sure. So the start of it started with our nonprofit that we run and a marketplace that we host for other small local Black-owned businesses called the Archwood Exchange Buy Black Marketplace. And at that time, we noticed that there weren't many items that were there sold for men. So simply as an effort to fulfill a need, plug a gap, so to speak, we looked around for things that men would like, and we landed on hats. And with that, it proved to be successful that this was actually a void, not just in the marketplace, but we found out in the valley as well. My partner Ali, he owns a bookstore, and one day he just said, "You should bring the hats over to the bookstore so we could sell them here." And I thought, if we're going to do something, I plan on it being successful. So let's go ahead and plan for success from the start. So instead of just bringing hats over to the bookstore, we actually tested the concept inside the bookstore. And from that point, it was something that we did notice that the Valley needed. And from there, we've noticed that we're pretty unique in the country as well. So it started off strictly as to fill a void, and found out something that we do better than everybody else.
That's amazing. I didn't know you guys were a nonprofit. I'll have to talk to you after this.
Absolutely.
But that's really awesome that you were able to test those waters out into the bookstore. And I think that being able to see if your venture will actually work with partnering and collaborating in that way is really amazing. So that's so awesome. What marketing strategies have been most effective for Straw and Wool in building brand awareness and reaching hat enthusiasts, especially in a digitally driven market?
I'll let you take that one too, Aaron.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So it's funny, when we first opened, we had planned on just being your local mom and pop hat shop, as you've seen everywhere. But we actually opened 3 days before quarantine in 2020. So that was probably the best thing. I'm not going to say probably, it was the best thing that could have happened to us, because at that point, it forced us to evolve how we operate. And we moved online because, online was not shut down. So from there, we learned to really effectively find our audience on social media. Um, Tapped in with a couple of influencers, but primarily just knowing who our market is. And and that's critical when you start to market through social media, because you could cast a large net, cost a lot of money, and not bring back a lot of fish. So
Right.
we've learned to narrow down um, who our customers are once again, and find them. Also, locally, one of our biggest campaigns has been at the airport, after finding out that we were pretty unique across the country, and knowing that Phoenix had a lot of tourism. We figured what better place than to capture these people than to flying into Phoenix. So at Sky Harbor, we've been running an ad there for almost 3 years,
Wow.
and that made a huge impact. So between social media and the ad at the airport, those have been our primary focuses, and we get the most return on those.
Wow, that's really, really insightful. And it seems that the pandemic, a lot of businesses downtown Phoenix opened during the pandemic. So, congratulations for being able to make it this far and being able to bob and weave through those different times and figure out what works for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it
So,
was definitely trial by fire.
oh yeah, for sure. If you made it through that, you can make it through anything.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So how do you ensure that your brand's mission of bringing style and pride into the Valley is reflected in the products shaping the experience that you offer?
So we just take a great pride in everything that we design, everything that we create. We're very passionate about not just the style, but the culture and the messages that we try to incorporate into the products that we have. Most people know, but many of the hats that we have, or all of our hats, are named after cities. But in our own brand, the Ori collection, our hats are named after Black towns. So like Rosewood and East Lake Park and Oak Cliff, and on down the line. But we also, I get a lot of feedback from ever since we started of what was missing in the marketplace, what people wanted to see, and what they weren't able to find. And so we just take a great a deal of time to listen to our customers and to bring and create those things that we know that our customers need and our customers are looking for.
And bringing it back to your marketing, it's really innovative that you were able to get online, because I'm sure you have clients that aren't even in Arizona. So that's really awesome to be able to like, widen your net.
It was a absolute necessity.
Yeah.
It was absolute necessity. And I know Henry had a lot of experience with that prior to going into this business. Me, not so much. So I've been learning the whole online piece and e-commerce and things like that. But the strengths and the background that he had, have definitely been an asset in growing this one.
So can you share some insights in the design process behind your hats and accessories and how you create diverse preferences for your customers?
Yeah, sure. Well, again, going back to what Ali just said, our primary focus is feedback from our customers.
Mhm.
Because when we first started, we were just a retailer of other hat brands, which is your typical hat shop when you go anywhere in the country. But that was our first bit of feedback from our customers was, I can't find anything that fits my head. I wear locks,
Mhm.
or these styles are cool, but do you have something that's a little more unique?
Mhm.
So from there, we took that feedback, and once again, I guess, successful entrepreneurship is fulfilling a need. So we just took those bits and pieces of feedback from our customers and started designing things that we had an idea that they would like to see, and even to the point where we could design things that they didn't even know they wanted.
Wow.
So, over the years, one of our biggest releases, based on feedback from our customers, was the Divine Nine line. So the black, historically black fraternities and sororities aren't represented when it comes to like true fashion outside of, you know the college, gear. So
Right.
we just try to make sure that, one, there's a market for it, and two, that it truly represents what they want and not just pander to what we think they want.
Right.
And we've been pretty good at it so far.
So are you taking your business to different cities now and not just keeping it into Phoenix, it sounds like?
Yeah, we do. So we've been traveling for a number of years, going to different festivals and primarily jazz festivals, but different events where we feel like our target market will be present in large numbers. So that's another strategy that we've used to employ to go directly to our audience and show them the product, show them the brand, but also build those relationships out. And so that's taken us, across the country from Washington, D.C. to Vegas to all over California, anywhere, again, anywhere we feel like our target audience will be largely represented. And it's paid off. Not only are the events successful from a sales standpoint, but we found that, many of our customers have come from those events. They may not have seen us online, or they may not have seen us in other places, but they see us at those festivals, and then they become, online customers, because a lot of hats is still one of those things where you need to try it on. Not,
Right.
we say not all hats are created equal. So,
Yeah.
this company's extra large might not feel like that company's extra large, but if somebody's there, they can feel something, they like the hat, and they know that that's the size that fits and feels comfortable. Now they can order repeatedly, once they go back home, and we find that to be the case in a lot of times with these when we travel.
Oh, well, I know that you said this started with a nonprofit idea, but can you tell us in what ways does Strong Wool engage with local community through philanthropic efforts and how these initiatives align with your brand values?
Yeah, 100%. So it's in the DNA of who we are and everything we do. It started through our nonprofit, which is a community effort to help build and amplify local business, primarily Black-owned businesses, because many are disadvantaged, right? And so we continue to do that through our efforts, not only through our hiring, but through the companies that we contract with, through the companies that we give opportunities to. So local designers, local entrepreneurs. We have products in the store from a number of different entrepreneurs. And then through our philanthropic efforts, we started something called Giving Saturday, where once a month we'll pick a different nonprofit and we'll give a portion of sales to different nonprofits throughout the city. We also, we have a pretty prominent location in downtown Phoenix, right on Roosevelt Row. So in the summer, not very many people take us up on it, but we make that space in front of the store available for nonprofits to come out and do fundraising, to do get out the vote campaigns, or whatever their cause is. We make that space available to them, as well as making a space available to businesses on First Friday to come out and set up, just as another way to create opportunity.
No, that's really, really helpful, especially to nonprofits, and just thank you for the work that you do within the community, because it takes a lot for businesses to realize that you as a small business really do uplift your community and you're the backbone to your community. So thank you so much for that.
Well, we know it, we know it to be true. We're products of it. And so it would be foolish for us not to continue that cycle.
Right. So what sets your tone apart from other hat retailers? And how do you create a unique shopping experience for both hat enthusiasts and newcomers?
What sets our tone apart? I think everything that we just talked about in terms of the DNA of our company, our origins, and what we represent at all times. I think when people come in, they can sense that. And we're very intentional about it because the people that we hire also have that makeup in who they are. So when you come in, you're going to be greeted by somebody that actually cares about your experience, that cares that you have a great shopping experience so that you'll always come back. So, I mean, just to the point now, we barely go into the store because we want to make sure that we're not in the way of our team that does such a great job. You know, we just stay out of the way. So we make sure that everyone has a great experience. And when a lot of people, when they go back home, like Ali mentioned, we'll meet somebody at a festival one year and go back the next year and they'll tell us they bought 30 hats from us.
Wow.
So we just make sure that they understand that we're genuine people, that our purpose for doing this is not just money or not just to be seen or be recognized, but what we actually are carrying a flag for our nonprofit and our origin story to show all of these other businesses how far you could go starting from the same place. And that, for every question, there's an answer, and let's work together to try to find those answers.
And just to add on from the hat perspective, you asked about, for newcomers, we're newcomers.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a hat from my dad at one point, but I've never been a hat connoisseur, right? So we can speak to that awkward feeling of putting on a hat and not knowing if it fits your head right and stuff like that. So I think us not trying to be the fashion experts and trying to be the guru of everything fedora, disarms them and makes them feel more comfortable. We price our hats at a way where everybody can afford them. We like to think we're everybody's hat shop. We don't have $500 and $600 hats, nothing wrong with that. But we try to create an experience where anybody can come in, find a nice quality hat, have a great time shopping for it, have great conversations, and build a relationship.
That's amazing. I talked to somebody who works somebody on your team. I called yesterday and they were top notch. Though you have a really great team. They're so polite and very kind. So it's really hard to find people to work for you who are representing your brand the way you want. So I understand that. But they were, whoever answered the phone, kudos to them, give them a raise, maybe. So for aspiring entrepreneurs in the fashion industry, I know we have a few classrooms who are actually participating and watching this. What advice would you offer based on your experiences with establishing and growing Strong Will?
I would say something that I learned early on with my first business, which was a clothing brand. When I first started, it was a very niche theme to the clothing brand, and that was the feedback that I got from a lot of people was I don't know if there's going to be a lot of people that want this because it sounds like you making something for you, which was a discouragement up front. But then I realized that I might be unique, but a lot of people um, share my perspective of the world. So something that's niche, it's not for everybody, but
Mhm.
those are not the things that last. The things that are for everybody quickly fade. But
Right.
when you focus on like what makes you unique, there's enough people that'll tap into that same frequency with you, that will share your perspective, that'll share your sense of style, and that will be a loyal customer because they found someone that's like them. So I guess in a nutshell, I would say don't be afraid to be unique, and don't be afraid to be niche or be weird, because the world is filled with people. You might not see them or meet them, but the world is filled with them. And with the world that we live in right now, it's pretty easy to find them and for them to find you.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's a wonderful answer. So what challenges have you faced since launching Straw and Wool? We know the pandemic happened, but you successfully got over that hurdle. And how have you overcome the challenges that you did face, or and continue to grow and thrive as a business?
Where do we start? Man. Challenges. Let's see. What's a specific challenge to speak to? Just I would say an ever growing. I'll pick one. An ever growing challenge is growing the business um, when financial resources are limited. Right.
Mhm.
That's something that every business runs into. And I think we've tried to take a very strategic approach at both growing revenue, but also reducing expenses. And one of the things that's helped us tremendously with that, in studying this market and studying this industry, we found that while people love hats, right, not very many people were loyal to a brand, right?
Mhm.
They're more loyal to the style, more loyal to the quality. They might be more loyal to a shop, right? But there wasn't a high amounts of brand loyalty in the hat world, at least amongst the customers that we were working with. And so, in doing some research and understanding the process and the supply chain of manufacturing, we've been able to grow by leaps and bounds by creating our own brand, right?
Mhm.
By transitioning from a pure reseller and paying, and having maybe a 40 to 50% margin, by actually building a relationship with manufacturers, both here and abroad, and lowering our costs, where we now have, sometimes between 80 and 90% margin on our product. And so that's been able to help us strategically position ourselves, not just as a business financially, but as a brand. It gives us a lot more credibility by saying, this isn't just a hat that we're selling, but this is a hat that we designed. This is a hat that we made, and this is a hat that we own. And so I think just always being strategic, always being intentional and analytical about the industry that you're in and trying to learn as much as possible about it has helped us to overcome that specific challenge
Yeah.
in one way, right? We still need to raise more funds, right? That's the challenge
Right.
that we're always working on. But at least lowering our expenses and being able to have a higher profit margin,
Mhm.
that's helped us tremendously.
So
It,
you've,
it, I'm sorry, go ahead.
well, go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say one of our challenges too is y- finding mentorship that
Mm,
has surpassed where you're currently at.
right.
So we're always growing, and up to a certain point, we could tap into to colleagues, we could tap into to local resources that could help us get over a couple of humps or get to these certain markers.
Mhm.
But once we reached to a certain point, we looked around and there was there was no one that could speak to where
Yeah.
we were or where we were trying to go. So just having someone there that can relate to where we currently are, but also has gone past that, has been a challenge as well. And we're kind of like, we're just feeling around in the dark. We keep bumping our head, But you know, that's information that we can pass on to the people behind us and say, don't turn left right there because you're
Right.
gonna bump your head. So it's been a challenge and a blessing at the same time.
Sounds like you're the innovators. You're
Yeah.
you're the first,
Yep.
which is awesome, but yet very difficult. So,
It can be.
so with looking ahead, what are your plans for Strong Wool and in the terms of expanding your brand presence and further contributing to the Phoenix community? Do you guys see yourself maybe in more airports or more cities? What is your
Well,
10-year?
ironic that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I'm actually sitting in the car right now on my phone because I'm in Los Angeles. We're opening up our second location.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. So we plan on having it open next weekend, a soft opening. So everything is all up in the air. Again, this is one of those things where we don't know how this is supposed to look. We don't know how we're going to maneuver this. We know that it's a 5 hour drive,
Yeah.
and we can endure that and maybe replicate what we did in Phoenix. But beyond that, you know, we we're in the dark again. But so I'm here meeting with contractors and sign makers and the city of Los Angeles to turn our electricity on. So the expand we plan on doing this all over again before the end of the year as well, hopefully on the East Coast or down in the South. But there's a lot of opportunity for us that we see and that we always get feedback from, especially from our travels. That you know we it's one of those things. If you wait for things to be, well, I heard somebody say one time, done beats perfect every time.
Mhm.
So we're just trying to get some things done for right now, and we'll perfect the process as we go along.
Oh, you guys are brave. I commend you. I own a few businesses and people ask me, would you do it again? I'm like, I don't know. But so you guys are, I really, really admire you for going into a new state and doing this all over again. So that's really, really awesome. So, could you share some memorable customer experiences or success stories, to highlight the impact of your brand?
Yeah, definitely. And just to add on to the growth part, um, I always say I'm not going to preach, so I'll try not to. But we're just we know that we have something special is one, right? And so we are just trying to do everything that we can to grow it and see how far it can go, right? But as something Henry mentioned of to set an example, and to really carry the flag, not just for our nonprofit to say, this is where we started and this is where we're going, but just for the community and for anybody that's starting from nothing, and starting with a little bit of community support and a couple of nickels to run together. We are as a people, right? We're I think 14% of the population, but there's no industry that we're dominant in,
Mhm.
and so and we know the history, right? We know why, but at a time like this, we want to see if we can get the resources to pull together, right, and the support and we know that we have everything that we need, right, and so we just want to be a strong example of
Mhm.
what's possible. When you have the commitment and the will and nobody holding you back.
Yeah.
Right. And so, which we haven't always had the luxury of saying
Yeah.
here. So yeah, so that's where we're going. As Henry mentioned, 2 locations this year. Another 7 more next year,
Oh,
and
wow.
and maybe something international. Not long after that. So to be the number one hat company in the world, that's where we're going.
That's so awesome. To be continued, I
To be
suppose.
continued.
Uh,
Right.
Truly.
As far as customer, my favorite is Tabitha Brown. We met Tabitha at a
oh, wow. That's
yeah.
so cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. We met Tabitha at Essence Festival last year, and she came in and she loved the brand, and the energy. Cause my wife is a huge fan of hers, so
Yeah.
I was like, as soon as I saw her, I was like, go talk to Tabitha. So she was over there. They was talking about her shows and talking about her books and stuff like that. And so they hit it off, and she's worn our hats in a number and shouted us out in a number of posts. And she's a big contributor to our recent success, both the brand awareness as well as sales. Her and her husband did a video for her birthday, and she had the hat on and tagged us. She was like, "I'm wearing Gucci and this and Strong Wool,"
Wow.
and a lot of people were reaching out. Was like, "I want that hat that Tabitha." It was a one of a kind hat, so he was like, "You can't get that one, but we got something similar." But that was a pretty cool one.
That's so awesome. Congratulations. I know that's a big reach with
Oh
an
yeah,
influencer. That's really
absolutely.
exciting.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of people that actually wear our brand and wear our stuff. For some reason, very few people, they don't do the tag thing. I don't know if
Oh,
it's like a
gatekeep it.
secretive thing. Yeah, I don't know if it's a secretive. I don't know the science behind that, or if they want to check or what. But Tabitha and Ed Gordon, have shown a lot of love. They wear our stuff and they tag us every single time. So it's been great. So I got to shout them out.
That's really cool. I have to get ready for Beyonce's new tour, so I have to come get.
That's
Do you have
right.
like
Get your
good
cowboy hat.
hats? Okay,
That's
cool.
right. We got them. We got to get them rhinestoned out or something.
Oh
But
wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll have to come. I have one last question that wasn't planned, but just to throw it and throw you for a loop, I suppose. What can you tell us what it means to be a Black entrepreneur and like just representing your community in that way, and like how special that is to be a Black business owner?
I'm gonna let Henry because I don't want to get too radical.
All right, let me see.
I get in trouble.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Uh, let me see. That's a conflicting question because we like to say it with pride, which we are proud of. But if you were to take a step back and look at it from was it a 3,000-foot view or whatever, what we're really talking about coming from a place of disadvantage.
Mhm.
So as much as we can wear with pride that we're a Black-owned business, essentially what we're saying is we had to fight really hard to get to this place, and we're still standing. So as and that is something to be proud of, but at the same time, it's almost a condition that we've learned to accept, and maybe not really look at it for what it is, um, which is a disadvantage. So the fact that we're still standing, the fact that we're still here, and the fact that we can give back is something that I am proud of.
Mhm.
I almost look at it. I look at it sometimes the dichotomy of things. I think Black-owned businesses could probably go further if we did not have the social responsibility that most other groups have. If we didn't have our nonprofit and the work that we do, we probably could have had 5 locations open. But the fact that where we come from, what we're dedicated to, and what we want to see win is just as much a part of what we do. That gets about 50% of our time.
Yeah.
So I am proud that we have been able to work through this, but I also want to get to the point where um, being a Black-owned business is just like being any unique group.
Yeah.
Because you say Black-owned business, you're really talking about an origin story and what you had to do to get there, not necessarily how you conduct yourself now,
Mhm.
but what you had to go through to get there. And what we're really talking about challenges. So I'm proud to be part of that community, but I'm more proud to give back and make it a little easier for more people coming behind us.
Yeah. That's amazing. I really appreciate you sharing that. I think it's important. And that's why I really would love that we have had so many master classes that represent different ethnicities. And we've had 2 that are Black owned businesses. And I think the story is something to be told and to be heard from our students, because our student population is very diverse. And so knowing that you'll have to go over these barriers, but that you can get through it and see someone who like you who has done it is very, very helpful. So thank you.
Absolutely. Just a quick note too. I'm not sure if you knew, but Latha, Evelia, she got her entrepreneurial start with our nonprofit. She made her very first dollar with us, with our organization.
Yeah, she told us. I didn't realize that that was your nonprofit, but she did tell us. So now the dots are clicking for me. So that's really awesome. And it's there aren't really a lot of Black businesses who are willing to, come and spend this time with us. So we just really appreciate you for taking the time out today and helping students understand what it takes to run a business. Um, and I think now we'll open it up for our questions.
And we do have a pretty large network, so if you're looking for more businesses, let us know.
Yeah, I don't worry. After this, I'm gonna email you guys.
There you go. There you go.
All right.
I have lots of questions now. Okay, so if you have a question, you can drop it in the chat in the Zoom, or you can scan this QR code for those of you in the classroom, and send your question that way. Well, while we wait, I have a question. How did you guys decide on downtown Phoenix? Was that just because the bookstore was already downtown, or?
No, we've been working downtown since we started the nonprofit, which was
Okay.
2016.
Wow.
Yeah, 2016. And we were intentional about operating there for our event because we wanted something central. We wanted something central. We wanted to be where a lot of the growth and activity was going on. And so our marketplace event has been happening there every month in downtown Phoenix since 2016. And then as luck would have it, my bookstore was also downtown adjacent. It's in East Lake Park. I mean, if it had been in Glendale, we probably still would have started in the bookstore, but it happened to be there. And then we were only in the bookstore for about 3 months, and then we opened our first boutique, which was on Grand Avenue. So when we started looking for a location for the store, an initial location, we were still intentional about downtown. But now to see the growth and expansion of downtown, especially in the Roosevelt area, we know we made the right decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we wanted to also be somewhere that we weren't necessarily represented. I grew up in San Diego and I saw how that downtown was developed. And I don't know if there's any Black-owned businesses down there right now, and it'd be pretty much impossible. So part of that intentionality was making sure that we kept a foot in the door that was eventually going to close, but that we left it cracked open enough for everybody else to come through, because that's where the money was. So you can be somewhere where your money is limited and your opportunities are limited, but we chose the hard fight, for the bigger reward.
So we have a question here, and it says, what is one resource or opportunity that really helped you along your entrepreneurship journey?
I would say the biggest thing, I mean, really is Shopify. So Shopify is a host for our website, and you know, we have not been conventional with the way we started this business, with the way we operate this business, nor the way we grow this business. So on paper, we just look like we're all over the place. But Shopify has an opportunity with Shopify Capital. They see what you really do because all of your business funnels through them. And they see the type of revenue that you generate. They see how consistent that you are. So where we would walk into a bank and they probably wouldn't even have a seat with us, Shopify sees what really counts. And the Shopify Capital loans have enabled us to grow our businesses in ways that if that didn't exist, we might not still be in business.
Wow, that's really amazing that you were able to use that tool. So we have another question, and it says, what has been the biggest obstacle for you all in starting your business?
The biggest obstacle, I probably would use the same example is gas in the car, right? You have to have resources to start and to grow. Um, Two things that helped us to overcome this. One, as you mentioned, was Shopify because we didn't have the ability to use the conventional methods of a bank loan or friends and family or investors. We didn't have any of that. And so once we were able to get going, we were able to tap into resources from Shopify to really become fully legitimate. Like our Roosevelt location is because of Shopify, a Shopify loan that we got access to. But even prior to that, getting up and going and making it sustainable was really because of our community efforts. Um, we have been working in the community and building relationships for a number of years. And not to say, you have to start a full nonprofit and host community events every month, but the standing that we have in the community relation in the community were the initial thing that helped us really start to get off the ground and grow at the pace that we did. And so that is the obstacle was, getting the word out about you. You can hang a sign up, but if nobody knows about you, if nobody comes through your door, you're not going to get very far. And so, through a number of things, being present in the community, even outside of our nonprofit, we were organizers and activists and just very active in the community. And I think in seeing our intention and in seeing our authenticity, um, the community, even people that don't wear hats, right? They was like Hiri and Ali and Stacy and Vanna, they starting something, like we're gonna support it. And so I would just say, don't be fake about it, but the your willingness to give back and to support whatever the community is you're part of, will repay itself in spades, through your business efforts.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. So we have another question, and it says, how have you hired slash built your team? And are there specific talents or skills that matter most for your organization?
You know,
I know you have great customer service on the phone, but what else do you guys have?
yeah, that is the gift and the curse. But
Mhm.
but it's also something that's allowed us to understand our business a lot more. Everybody that works for us, we know, and we've known for some years, including my daughter. She was our really our first hire. Um, and with us being who we are, um, not everybody is going to understand us or understand our why.
Mhm.
So we were intentional with bringing people in that, we're not going to look like your typical employer because we don't necessarily do this for the money. What we do this to, for the community and for a bigger cause. So it's people that share that same mindset. But with that, though, nobody has this experience, including us. So
Mhm.
we've all been learning together. We've learned how to work together. For one, that's one of the biggest things, just work together. And two, what does it really take for day-to-day operations, and not just day-to-day operations, but being in a position of growth. And I think with that, we have been able to create something proprietary where if you pick this up and place it on another business, it's not going to work. But over time, it will. So the curse is now, I don't know how we recreate that at the second location.
I guess you guys will have to see.
Yeah,
Yes.
we have to figure it out. And the beauty of it, just from like a leadership standpoint, is obviously we have a team now that has gelled, and everybody, we see the commitment level. It took some time to get there, right? We kind of
Yeah.
got some square pegs and round holes, but now that we've seen everybody's level of commitment, now it's a focus on growth, right? And how do we tie in the aspirations and the passions of our team to what the business is doing and where the business is growing. So one of the person who well, I don't know if you spoke with Asar, was it a man or a woman that you spoke with?
It was a man.
Okay, yeah, so that would have been Asar. So Asar has been on the team for a number of years, and he's very artistic, very creative, and so now he's become like a designer and hat. He's our head person that does customizations and things like that. And it's something that he's very passionate about, right? Even to the point where we're talking to him about creating his own kind of like offshoot line where he has his own brand,
Wow.
type of thing. Another person on the team, they like to do events. And so we're talking to them about hosting and coordinating events for the brand. You know, one person on the team has aspirations of management and leadership. So we're talking to them about, as we continue to grow, you know, to go to a different city and run one of the locations. So, you know, it's all about finding the fit of, you know, obviously management stuff, of finding the fit of that person's strengths and abilities to, you know, what the needs of the business are.
And I think the way that you are conducting your teams and handling your business really speaks to the volume of your business and how you're been able to be successful, because it's it's really hard for some business owners to differentiate having employees that they think will be there forever and not want to grow or not want to do something on their own. So I think it's really amazing that you are looking forward and saying, like, we know that you probably won't be doing this forever, but we want to help you with what your end goal is. And that's really what differentiates a boss and someone who's just a business owner. So that's great.
Absolutely. I mean, we don't consider ourselves boss. We, you know, we still feel like this is a family business.
Mhm.
You know, so everybody that spends any amount of time with us, we want it to be mutually beneficial.
Yeah, and part of this expansion of the motivation of it is making sure that we do have opportunities for our team members. You know,
Mhm.
we value them, and we make sure that they know we value them, not just from the pay, because we're always creating opportunities for ways for them to make more money, but to explore those passions like Ali was talking about. So part of this expansion is just opening their world up as well to more possibilities.
That's so cool. Are you guys hiring?
Here in
We
LA,
are,
yeah.
if you're in LA.
So we do have some fashion students in LA. We'll have to get you together with some
Please
that
do.
that fit them. We have another question. It says, do you have any advice for students or aspiring entrepreneurs who are interested in starting their own business in the fashion industry?
Yeah. I think I mentioned before, just don't be afraid to be you. Um, you know, a lot of times we feel like we have to fit in, or we have to feel like, I mean, we feel like we have to ensure that what we do fits in with what's popular at the time. But you'll quickly get lost in that. The more you can stand out, the more you can tap into the most unique aspects of yourself. I think you will resonate with the people who resonate on the same frequency that you do. You know, the more unique you can be, the more strong of an audience you'll have, the stronger brand that you'll have, because those people, whether it be few or many, will know that you truly represent them as well.
We had someone in the chat say that hopefully next time you're in LA, maybe you can speak to one of the classes. That I don't know if you were familiar that ASU is also in California in LA. So we do have a couple facilities over there as well.
Couple
Yes, we
facilities, come
will.
on, that's being modest. I heard y'all Bob Fittum.
I'm
We
not
got
Michael Crow, so I'm, not,
very
I'm
modest.
We're
I'm
taking
just
over the world.
a little Casey in
Yes, you
United.
will.
But yeah, we'll have to figure out. I'll get some contacts to you guys for sure. I do have one last question before we let you guys go. Um, as far as your brand um buys products and gets different types of hats for the store, how has sustainability and like trying to be responsible with the products that you're buying, how does that affect your business?
Check that.
So I think we I don't know if I can really verbalize it because it's something that's just encoded in what we do. You know, because we're going to make sure that if there's something that we're going to carry, and at the very least on mass scale, that it's not something that's going to hurt the environment. You know, we carry a lot of vegan suede, you know, because, you know, suede looks great. It's also expensive, but more importantly, it doesn't represent any harm to the environment. So I think with most things that we either create or that we purchase to resell, we make sure that it's something that one is not going to have a problem being in the landfill at one day. Although none of our hats will end up there, so that's really not a worry. But two, we make sure that it's the best that we can, that it has very little impact on the environment in the production of the product. You know, we make sure that we carry paper bags. Whenever we ship things in the mail, everything in there is recyclable. So we just try to, wherever we have an opportunity, we try to make sure that the impact on the environment is very little.
Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing your insight and your wisdom and just for the conversation. I've learned so much. And I grew up, my grandpa used to wear fedoras. So when I saw your guys' company, I was like, oh my gosh, I love hats. So this was just a really awesome experience, and we're just so grateful that you took the time to even talk to us and talk to the students. Because our program is for entrepreneurs at ASU and also Maricopa Community Colleges. So we're really excited to be able to have you here and give those golden nuggets that, you know, most people would wish that they knew when it came time to opening a business. So you will definitely hear from me with some follow-ups and then some emails and some correspondence. But thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity.
Of course.
Thank you for
Well,
having me.
enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy LA.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.